Whoa. Well, that was weird. Did that end very abruptly and oddly, or is that just me? It was something from my screen. Anyway, welcome to the first episode podcast, everybody. I am Brian, here with, of course, the one and the only Donnie.
That's me.
Not the Donnie Wahlberg. I guess there's a couple of Donnies. Only one Donnie that's not having sex with, who's Donnie Wahlberg married to? Somebody shocking. Somebody you'd never expect. Hold on. Donnie Wahlberg. Oh, Rico's here too. Should mention that.
Hello, Rick. Yeah. He's not married.
he gets low. Oh, Jenny McCarthy. Donnie Wahlberg's married to Jenny McCarthy.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Who? Speaking, Rico, you're muted. Rico, you're muted. Rico, you're muted.
I thought you were talking about Mark Wahlberg. I'm like, wait, what?
No. Donnie Wahlberg. And oddly enough, we're talking about autism on the spectrum. Jenny McCarthy, noted woman who likes to talk about how vaccines cause autism. Now, I'm not making that claim, to be clear, YouTube. I'm not making that claim on the show.
Well, I was wondering, RFK's, his campaign is kind of,
I was trying to get that as a sponsor for the show. Didn't work.
Maybe he should be the host of On the Spectrum.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Back in the zeitgeist, right?
So what are you looking for? You're looking to get boned by another autist? Yeah, that wouldn't get old fast.
I haven't actually ever heard an RFK impersonation before.
I think it's pretty good. It's hard to do because your voice immediately hurts. It's just, I don't know if it must hurt him to talk all the time, right?
It sounds like it does when he talks. You just feel bad for him. And yeah, doing the impression would hurt.
And he's married to Cheryl from
Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Curb, yeah. Yeah.
RFK is
such a hawk on Israel.
No way.
Yeah, I know. That whole thing, by the way, that just happened with him talking about having Aaron Rodgers as his running mate was or Jesse Ventura. Like, what are you talking about? There's no way either.
It would have been better than who he picked.
Did he officially pick the Google X Sharon?
I thought so.
Yeah. I mean, not that this is a political show, but I mean, yeah, that was dumb. That was a ridiculous pick. I thought he was going to pick Mike Rodgers. There's no way Aaron Rodgers would have done it. Why would Aaron Rodgers join it?
He declined to comment. He didn't shoot it down right away.
That's just him being smart. He's got dark cabins, dark holes in the woods to sit in for weeks at a time, and and models to bone. He doesn't need to get into politics. He's getting paid by the Jets $35 million. You're gonna step away to go run for vice presidential candidacy.
He probably had it written in his contract. He would still get paid if he's vice president.
It'd be awesome.
Look ahead.
Yeah,
not president, just vice president.
The Jets at the time were blown away by that contract edition. They're like, if you run for vice, whatever, Aaron. That's gonna happen. Then they're like, fuck, we may be fucked here.
Honestly though,
he knows RFK.
He couldn't do the same amount of work as Kamala Harris.
Easily.
While being an active NFL quarterback?
Well, when the Jets played the Texans, he can go to the border. I mean, if anything, it makes more sense.
He could just give interviews after getting a concussion, and it would still be kind of a step up.
That would be
no difference. Did Kamala Harris find love on the spectrum? Do we know?
She found love. I was going to make a joke that I probably shouldn't make.
What about her banging Mayor Willie Brown?
No.
Fast Willie? Well, yeah, don't make it. Probably a good idea. If you're hesitating, it's probably best not to make it. Yeah. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to talk about Love on the Spectrum, Season 2, Episode 1. But before we do that, we have to finish talking about Baywatch, because we started talking about Baywatch last episode, and we didn't realize that Baywatch essentially made a movie for its first pilot. It was a 2-hour long, an hour and a half, or an hour and 35 minutes without commercials episode. That was essentially a Lifetime original movie involving intrigue, lawyer lifeguards, ugly girlfriends, hot young things that wanted to have sex with lawyer lifeguards.
So
Murder.
Do you think the second half, because the first half of I only watched the first half last week or last time. So that's
Mhm.
probably one of the reasons we couldn't do the whole thing.
I figured you're also
But
going to
what's
say,
this-
and also this time.
Yes, I only watched the first half of the second half. But was the second half more ridiculous? I think it was.
Yeah,
Yes.
somehow.
Like,
It was.
There's
but it
not
was
enough
better.
ridiculousness going on in this episode. We need to up it.
Right.
Like they fired the writer halfway through. Like this is going too conventional.
The
Got a
writer then
lifeguard in the
goes.
sand.
Yeah.
Lawyer, lifeguard. Everyone's seen that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like how. So to recap the first episode, like I said, there's a lawyer lifeguard. There's Hasselhoff. There's an old man who's too old to be a lifeguard. Everybody says. Spoiler: they were right.
Wait a minute.
But that solved itself due to the worst boat cooking I've ever seen.
He knows how to, but his ability to paint seascapes with missing fish,
That
I
was
think
good.
is very, yeah, that was
So
important.
jumping
for
ahead
the
to
show.
that part real quick, because it has no bearing on the episode. When David Hasselhoff goes to the dock he's sitting on, or maybe his deck, whatever, and painting, there was a shot of where they were so uncomfortably close. Did you guys notice that? It was like
Yes.
they were talking to each other, like
It looked like they were
inch
gonna
away,
make
like they were
out.
about to make out. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Why
saw
are
that too.
Then they panned out, and it's this giant deck. Like, why are you standing so close to him?
Do you think that Hasselhoff stopped and asked that very same question? And the director leaned in. He goes, "People aren't watching Baywatch for the tits, David."
Start
They're
figuring it
watching.
Old
out.
people watching.
Old
Everybody
man,
wants to
young
kiss
man, lifeguard, sex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're showing
So
everything. on Episode 1. It's like we got 2 hours to fill.
Yeah. So 30-second recap. So the first episode, a hot young girl gets saved. She's a crazy kook by a elderly lawyer who is a lifeguard and ditches all of his lawyering. So that's the thing that happens. But she gets obsessed with him and she wants to be with him and starts lying and saying she was molested in order to infiltrate his household and set up what we find in the later half of this episode is a murder-suicide plot that'll take place under the pier. At the
Right.
very same time, David Hasselhoff's annoying son, Hobie, who is named Hobie, I think just to really emphasize how annoying he is, he goes out on a boat with an old man who was a lifeguard.
Well, that was
And
the
that-
second half of the episode.
That was the
didn't
second half.
happen.
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
First half, the old man realizes he's an old man because he tries to swim out to save people and he can't because he's fucking old. Then
Right.
that brings us up to speed. There you go. You're up to speed. It's crazy.
Well, also, Mitch's superior officer told him that he needs to take that old man off of lifeguard duty because he's
Yes.
old. And so Mitch is now in the position where he's got his friend who he likes painting with and getting very close with to talk. But he also has to take him off the sand, as they say in Baywatch. So he's faced with that dilemma as the next chapter unfolds.
Yeah. Can't you just be a guy if you're an old man lifeguard? Can't you just be a guy that blows a whistle and points at people to come in? I mean, that's a
Mm-mm. You
job
have
they
to be-
do
no,
more
you have
often than
to
doing
be-
anything.
Got to go in there and get him. Did you see that riptide? It grabbed like 100 people, something you never see in real life.
Oh, that was hilarious. Yeah. I forgot about the riptide that the Australian super swimmer that came over. All these people get drug out in the riptide, and then the lifeguards just dive in the water, swim out, and somehow manage to reach them and stop them from further going out in the riptide, which, by the way, does not happen in life. It's impossible. I don't care how good you are at swimming, you're going out in the riptide. But the hot Australian guy, super swimmer, he decides to not save a child that's drowning in order to save a hot chick. That was also part of the first half of the episode.
Honestly, that's what I would do too.
And he was like a
Is it-
parkour superstar. He like monkey flipped up the boathouse or
Oh,
the
yeah.
lifeguard tower in
Yeah.
like 4 seconds. Like he's a
But then he's
cartoon.
also he's leaving the beach with her afterwards because he's like, "Yeah, I saved
So,
you. Now we go
good
together. We're gonna
decision,
give you
right?
6." Yeah,
It is
exactly.
a good decision. I mean, if you leave the beach with a child you save after resuscitating that child with your mouth, that's going to raise some eyebrows. You leave with a hot chick, no one's the wiser.
Now if you think about it, in the beginning, the lawyer saves the hot chick and she wants to be with him. So girls are expecting to be taken
Yes.
care of by the guy that saves them. So it kind of makes sense how
Nah,
this whole thing's
you're
supposed to work
embodying the patriarchy, Don. I've been told that We're not allowed to do that anymore. All right, so that brings us to the second half of the episode. All right, go ahead.
All right. Well, so where I caught up on the second half, so the one of the people was having a party, right? I forget who was hosting the party, and they had a band playing, and so the crazy chick was invited with the lawyer, and then she goes up to the wife who's putting on makeup at the party and tells her how they had sex together, and the wife was like, "Huh, interesting." But the best part of the party was there was a lap pool there, and one of the lifeguards was doing laps the whole party.
Yes.
Like, why would you do that?
Right. Why not? I also thought it was weird that their lifeguard party is in this weird, it was like an underground pool dungeon. I have no idea what that house looked like. It was a weird setup.
It was an 80s house in every way. It was like weird walls, you know, those big square see-through blocks. They look like they're bricks but made of glass. Every 80s house had to have those. As you said, live band, you had to have those in the 80s. But then at this party, so the party happens. They somehow this girl convinces these people to let them live with her, right? In the second half, this crazy chick. She then lures, because she leaves a note like, I can't remember what note she left, some note to lure the girlfriend of the lawyer under the pier. And she's going in there. Did she go for a walk under the pier?
No, she goes to the girl. So the lawyer's wife is painting, and she goes to her and says, "Hey, my therapist said if you want to get rid of a bad thought, you write it down, and then you go burn the ashes and throw the ashes in the ocean." Stuff. Yeah, and then the girl goes, "Okay, I guess I'll go with you." And she goes, "All right, let's go." And then she lures her to the part under the pier where she's like, "Hey, can't we just burn the paper over here?" And she's like, "No, we got to go over here to burn it." And then that's when she takes her knife
out.
Yeah, into the fence. Yeah. Right. And also, let's not forget how she pretended to stab the sand before. She got the knife. That was great too.
That was ridiculous. Yeah, she stabbed in the sand. Why? But I also love, her plan, this crazy chick's plan, is to lure this woman underneath the pier, kill her with a knife by slicing her in the wrists, and then write a suicide note for the woman that would paint it as though she had killed herself and leaving this girl to take over. Now, there's several problems with that. Number one, I don't know why this woman would be going under the pier to kill herself. And number two, I think when you could kind of tell a forced knife slash versus, let's say, a nice, easy suiciding. I'm just saying there's better places to kill yourself. There's easier ways to do it, especially if you're a rich lawyer's girlfriend. And then I don't understand the next phase, how she expects to easily slide into this man who's heartbroken, instantaneously taking over the suicided woman's life. But it didn't work out because, fortunately, there are apparently a million fences underneath of boardwalks.
So many fences.
So many fences.
You couldn't find your way out.
It was like a house of mirrors.
The hedge maze of fences under there.
It didn't start from stabbing through the fence.
Look at the foot one.
Right.
Run the opposite way of the ocean. Right? It's one. Like, oh, there's the water. I'm going to go the exact opposite. That's where the fence was. Two, the pier itself gives you directions with the poles. Right?
Yeah.
They all line up. In case you can't follow the water to the beach, that's too complicated. Just follow the fucking poles.
Yes.
She couldn't do it. She was running sideways, and then she would stop and hide behind a pole.
Right. That's what you want to do. You hide behind a pole. You make seagull noises so she thinks that nobody's there that's human. Only birds here. She's coming out the knife. Ah! And by the way, also,
you throw feces at her to make it even more like a pigeon.
Feces. You try to steal a sub out of her hand. She flaps by with her hands and tries to bite food out of her hand. I mean, look, it's not that hard. Look, guys, here's a tip for you also. Anytime somebody's coming at you on the beach with a knife, they have to get close. Here's what you do. Handfuls of sand, and you throw them in their eyes. Again, and again, and again, and again, and you run away.
You run.
And then you run away.
Keep running.
It's that easy.
Keep running.
It's that easy.
Keep running.
Really,
Yeah, that's
anything. You
pretty
can throw sand in someone's eyes any number of times. It's still going to hurt. I promise you. They're not going to build up an immunity to it like iocane powder.
Yeah, you'll get it in their mouth afterwards too.
No. So it was unbelievably stupid, unbelievably ridiculous. And of course, the girl gets caught in the end to much of our chagrin. I'm trying to remember the scene where she actually gets caught. I'm kind of blanking because I finished watching it a few
so
days
the
ago.
husband like figured out exactly where they were going to be. And then he also ran to the chain link fence without being able to find a hole. And the wife was trapped against the chain link fence because she decided to stop moving with the person coming at her with a knife. So stopping against the barricade would be the best option there.
Yeah, because he could pull you through the fence.
And then he like somehow grabbed through the fence and got the knife. And she was having but you skipped over a part because he when he was told that she was being molested, he's like, I'm gonna confront this man on my own before we go to the cops, because he's also a vigilante,
kung fu jiu-jitsu lawyer,
lifeguard.
Lawyer lifeguard.
So he goes to her house, talks to her mom. He's like, "Where's her dad?" She's like, "Dead for 15 years." He's like, "Well, how is she being molested then?" And the mom's like, "Oh, she's doing it again." Like,
she just got out of the psycho ward.
I totally forgot about that.
At Christmas.
Like, why is she running around the city alone if you know she's a lunatic?
The mom's probably like, I would try to stop her, but she's got all these knives.
The milk was expired.
The mom's trying to stop the daughter from leaving the house, and she keeps running into fences.
Damn it! I kind of want her to kill somebody. I don't care.
Yeah. She's like, I'm just hoping one of these days she'll, in the first episode, she's like riding her bicycle into traffic. The mom's probably just like, please God, just let her go into traffic and get hit just once. Just one time. She keeps getting lucky. Yeah. That was ridiculous.
How does this keep happening? She should have been fast by now.
Living.
I thought she was doing wonderful. The knife kept going missing, but I thought it was nothing. It was starters.
Thought she liked Rambo, so she bought a Rambo knife.
So that was one plot. Right. The other plot involves the old lifeguard who takes Hobie, the annoying son of David Hasselhoff, out on a boat. And I can't remember where. I think they're like deep sea fishing, right?
Yeah. Well, before though, he tells Hasselhoff, "Let me take your boy fishing." And Hasselhoff just goes, "Okay, here, you can take Hobie and go fishing on the
now that you mention it, that is odd, right? Hasselhoff just demoted his friend. He's like, "You're fired." He's like,
"You got dementia." Yeah, take my kid out in the sea.
You're no longer reliable to watch over the lives of people, and you might hold a grudge against me. Go ahead, take my son deep into the ocean unsupervised.
Here's Hobie. You can have a Hobie for the day.
So he takes Hobie. Yeah, he takes Hobie deep sea fishing, and for some reason they're showing this fishing boat. Everybody's on the boat, and they show, I think it's like the kitchen, and there's just like did I miss something where a tube fell out? Because I don't think I did.
It was this is what they call in the lawyer circles product liability.
Yes.
Apparently there's the propane tank that he was using, and it was empty. So we got to switch out to the other propane tank. Okay, I can see that.
Fair enough.
He hooks it up. Then the propane starts shooting out the metal spigot or whateber that you put into the tube,
which he doesn't notice.
Tank failure.
Smell it.
Yeah.
Or anything.
By the way, did he not try to screw it? Or was he just like, I'm just going to mush it together and see what happens with the propane tank? I mean, this is user error, clearly. But how do you not hear propane shooting out? It's shooting out at high volume loudly and going, psh, and the guy's just like, well, I better light this stove up.
You don't smell
the
gas?
boat blows up. Yeah.
Gotta cook this fish.
Okay. And so it's the only explosion I've seen bigger is the footage of like Hiroshima, You know,
Yeah.
it's the biggest explosion you'll ever see in your life. I'm like, really? A little bit of propane did all this, huh?
Oh yeah.
And somehow
they love it.
nobody's killed that I saw, right? I think everybody's like,
I'm sure the
Except-
cook had to die. It was like a
they didn't
nuclear
show
bomb
it.
went off.
It's like watching G.I. Joe. You don't see anybody dead, or A-Team. You don't see anybody die. So you just see the explosion. There's people like floating. Hobie's like, ah! In the water. And the old man, sadly, succumbs to his...
Yes. But he does
Doug.
he
save
was courageous,
several folk.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a terrible synopsis.
I'm trying to remember it. Well, you guys are letting me down here.
So he's looking for Hobie, and he realized Hobie must be under the boat, and he's trapped in. So he goes down there, he finds him, he's kind of instructing everyone, and then David Hasselhoff makes it out on the scene and is leading everyone out. So he did well to get people there, but then when he's leaving, his foot gets caught on the world's most sinister net, and he
Yes.
can't shake it.
Right.
And he's dead.
Yeah, and then on the surface, everyone's saved, and Hasselhoff's like, what's his name? And then everyone's like, I don't know. And then some guy just pulls him up. And then he's all stiff when they pull him out, and Mitch is
You're
trying
not
to get him
dying on
free.
me today, pal.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh man, that was his mentor, and now he sees him go.
Yeah.
And that's why
yeah,
he gives that speech afterwards on to the shore line of
but with the beach scene, there's the whole scene where he's knocking on the wood to make sure they're alive and all that crap. I forgot about that. But then they hold a funeral for old Krusty Magoo, and it's 40 lifeguard vessels and boats in the water, and he gives a heartfelt speech, and I'm like, I hope no one's out there drowning right now, because every lifeguard on this beach is, sucking this old man off as they're throwing his ashes in the ocean. And also, wait, do you hear Hasselhoff? He's like, old Mitch loved the ocean. It was his heaven. So I guess you could say he's already in heaven. He was always in heaven. It's like,
he was in heaven when he died.
When he died, he was already in heaven when he was slowly drowning to death. He was like,
happened to me.
I made
That
it.
was terrible.
Right.
The angels are beating their wings inside my lungs, and it feels like hot, burning pressure. So that was Baywatch.
So to
See you
sum
in
it
hell,
up,
Mitch.
it's just another day on the beach at Baywatch, right?
Another day in Malibu.
Yeah, because then the next scene was just the beach opening up in the morning, a bunch of folks showing up, and another day.
And it cuts into the opening, I'll be there. And then the old man's like, but not me. Cuts and credits.
I'll be dead.
I'll be dead, but I'm not in heaven. So did you guys watch? I did watch the next episode somewhat. I fast forwarded through it, but I was just curious to see if lawyer guy was still in it. He is, shockingly.
Okay.
Nice. Eric Eleniak, hotter, different haircut. Because, from the pilot, stuff changes. There's another man, and I'll tell you the plot quick, too. I barely saw this guy, but they killed off one old man. And then in the opening credits, there's a brand new old fuck. Is this like the guy in the red outfit in Star Trek?
After as they're going, they rewrote the pilot because they're like, man, this old guy sucks. We got to kill him off. We still want an old guy.
We
just
still
won't
need an old man.
Gotta have an old guy.
Write a new guy.
Either that or they saw
an old guy.
Either that or they tested the pilot and they're like, you know what? These old people dying is testing off the charts. We got to do this once an episode.
I think they
That's how South Park got the idea to kill Kenny of it. Fucking Baywatch, man. Inspiration.
So you won't believe this, but this episode also has a scene under a pier, including fences, where people are not able to get out.
You gotta really take down these fences.
I mean, every Baywatch ends the same way. People in fences not be able to get out. This time it was Hobie, because there was a jet ski murder in the second episode. New brunette got introduced. She's okay. But jet skis, they called them, wait, I put it down here. Power skis. Power skis. They called it power skis. Confused the shit out of me for a while because I didn't know what they were talking about.
Maybe
but these guys
was licensed at the time.
Maybe ski dudes. So these psychopaths, these two cool Malibu psychos on their jet skis, they're going in circles high speed around some hot broad on a parasail or a, what do you call it? The surfboard
Hang
with
glider.
the sail on it. Not a hang glider. What is it called?
Parasailing.
Parasail. So she's on the ocean. They're going around her in circles. You know what's going to happen. She goes, stop it, falls off. She dies. So they bury her
falling
body. Probably a sea-doo hit her. You hit someone with a sea-doo.
It's like a
Yikes.
manatee was going by and killed him.
So the two cool dudes,
Boom.
the two cool dudes are friends with Hobie, who's gotten even more annoying somehow. He has a
Right.
blonde mullet.
Why would they be friends with him?
I don't know. Just as bad influences. That's all. That's the only reason they're friends, to make him into a horrible person. Because that's all they're doing this entire episode. He's
We're
talking
Hobie's-
back to
Hobie's
Hasselhoff.
homies.
He's rapping at David Hasselhoff, and he finds the dead body, and then they go after Hobie. So that's basically it. But he gets away after being trapped in the fences, and still no horse face girl, still no ugly horse face older lifeguard. I don't know when they introduce her. I thought it would have been now, because I don't know why you'd bring her in
Are
later.
you talking
on.
about the girl with no breasts that they
I'm
have
talking
in the later seasons?
Yeah, the very ugly. Hold on, Baywatch ugly woman. Let's just Google that. There's only one person
Very ugly.
that's going to come up here.
You know what? I just realized why they had her
It's
on
gonna
the
be
show.
me. I'm gonna come up.
Because if
As
you're
a foil?
watching Baywatch and you're, a teenage boy who may be watching for certain reasons back in the early 90s when there's not other outlets, they don't want you to finish up and then turn off the show, right? So
Right.
they put her on the screen every like 10 seconds. They're like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah.
A little boner killer. Let's keep them locked in.
You gotta go that whole hour.
All right, here's the original cast. Here you go. Here's the cast. Now, let me try to zoom in. Can I zoom in here?
It's not the original. cast, is it?
Yeah.
That's
Where's
Pamela
the,
Anderson. Is that Jenny
she's-
Eggert on
she's
the
right in the middle.
third from the right? And
Third
that's-
from the
who's
right.
that?
This doesn't have the let's see.
They haven't
That
introduced.
is definitely not the original cast.
For lead
No.
female characters.
This is a
yet. No
recycle.
one
This is
introduced one.
because this has
Oh,
like
it's the
Yasmin Bleeth in it
Third
too.
from
She was
yes,
in it.
that's who it is. On her
This
nose.
girl,
she
third
did
from
so
the right.
much-
Terrible. Oh, Yasmin Bleeth. Yeah, she partied her nose clean off.
Yeah,
Was
Yep,
she
that-
banging Dennis Rodman or somebody else? I'm trying to
that was
remember.
Carmen Electra. But she
Oh,
probably also was banging Dennis Rodman.
Was she
Everybody
on
was.
Baywatch?
I got to bang Dennis Rodman at least 3-4 times.
I don't think
I
Carmen
will-
Electra was.
No. Okay.
Yeah, I forgot
No.
there was like Gina Lee Nolan, right? Wasn't she a Baywatch girl for a little while?
I think so.
That girl from Charles in Charge, right? Wasn't she
Mm.
on for a little while?
I think she was in the photo
Nicole
we saw.
Eggert,
she
was
she
it?
was looking right. Nicole Eggert was on, I think.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna
Uh,
keep watching that
and
show.
Diane
It's gonna be
Anderson.
good.
Every show we watch, Don always says, I think I'm going to keep watching the show.
Yeah.
We haven't had one
and I-
show yet where you haven't said you're going to keep watching the
Yeah,
show.
you are
Even though it's
right.
Rico and I hated, you're still watching.
The South Korean dating show. I don't think you watched anymore.
No, I didn't. That
Okay,
was
so-
hard to-
I'm interested
I
in it. I should go
like
back
reading.
and watch the final episode. See who.
Yeah.
Maybe the
Who's
final.
heard of
We'll find a new podcast, the last episode. All right. Let's move on to Love on the Spectrum. Now, Love on the Spectrum is this is the second season. So I missed the first season. I know a lot of people that are huge into the show. They love it. In fact, our friend John has said he got huge into the show. And I will tell you, I found it completely heartbreaking. I have a hard time watching it. It was
Oh yeah.
a very hard
people
time
love
watching
it.
it.
I like
know
it.
they do. I know they do. I have a very hard time watching it, right? Because stop sharing
Why-
this until we start talking to these people.
Yeah. Why such a hard time?
Here's why. I'm an absolute asshole, but I have a soft spot in my heart for people with disabilities like this. And
No, you
this
don't.
show was, I'll say this, equal parts sad, joyful, beautiful, funny. And frankly, I don't need all that in my life. I don't watch TV to be reminded of all the emotions that I possess. In fact, I hate it. I don't like it at all. And this show, I teared up several times in the first episode, and I was like, I can't I'm out. I did. I swear to God. I'm sitting there.
Oh yeah, I believe
Sitting
it.
there tearing up, man. Because these people are they're such sweet people. And I just feel for them. One scene was very funny, which I'm sure we're going to talk about, where I both started to tear up a little bit, but also was laughing because it was so awkwardly terrible. But we'll get to
Which
that.
one?
Just leave. Well, I don't want to leave too far into the episode.
Well,
it's during the speed. It's during the speed dating. This guy going autism speed dating.
that was-
Oh, yeah, that was good.
That was so
I like that.
brutal.
So I thought I was like gonna watch a show and hate it. I'm like,
Yeah.
so mad. I'm like, I can't make fun of these people. Like, how am I gonna watch the show? But I actually kind of enjoyed it. I've watched through like 3.5 episodes, and then I kind of got bored of it. So I don't know if I'll keep watching. But it was interesting, and you're right. Like, all the people are obviously very sympathetic, and you can't help, at least I can't, but contrast it with, say, 90 Day Fiance, where they, I think, got off the rails by they kept introducing more and more people who were completely unlikable, families who were completely unlikable. You're just like, I can't watch these fucking assholes every week.
Yeah.
And all the people on this show were, like you said, very sweet. The families were nice, and you can understand like why they're not exploiting these people in any their family members in any way.
Yeah.
To try to be on TV. They're like, this is genuinely probably helpful for people with autism to watch this show and say, wow, yeah, I can date. And whoever thinks about, like, do you ever think like, oh, I wonder who the severely autistic person dates? Like, it never occurs to me. And I was like, yeah, it's a real issue, I'm sure. So yeah, I thought it was a touching show.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Donnie?
Yeah. Well, I think the people on the show have such a unique purity, or they're so focused on what they love, and they don't have any kind of hatred in the way they think.
They do for people that don't keep themselves cleanly. I've noticed that was a theme. Do you notice that theme?
Yeah.
They do have their dislikes.
Yeah, well, to your point though, it's like, very much about what they like, what they enjoy. But there was like I like 3 or 4 times it's like I just want somebody that brushes their teeth and bathes. Like, they really are into brushing teeth.
Yeah,
which I am too. I am too.
Yeah, why not? And they keep it simple, but it seems like they love things with a passion that few people get to have passion about when they're that age.
Yeah.
It just I think it made me think that what they have is more of an evolution of how people should feel, as opposed to something that's wrong with how people think or feel. I think if we all felt that way, this place, we would be a lot happier if everybody had the kind of enthusiasm with the way that people with autism can approach things that they're passionate about.
So
the sword market would be huge if we all had that.
That's the other thing. They all love swords.
Everybody with autism loves swords. I don't know. It's a unique quality.
It's really
They
funny.
also-
They all have sword collections.
I don't know how to put it, but it's kind of weird because they're it's a spectrum. So some people have more severe autism than others, obviously. But like a lot of the people that seem very severely autistic also said, they wanted families, which sure, that seems normal. But they're also dating other people with severe autism. So how does
that's like when a negative you multiply a negative and a negative and you get a positive. I'm
not saying if they
if
they had a kid, the kid wouldn't necessarily be on the spectrum, but like when you're the parents, they're like, how are you gonna raise the kid? Is that a concern?
Yeah.
They must be thinking, we cross that bridge, we get to it.
Yeah, like we're just gonna raise another one. Like
I also think that, man, there was one couple that was very sweet, and let me pull up some of these as we're talking about it. So I didn't write down everybody's names, but I think it's Anna. This girl right here. She was really sweet, and she has a boyfriend on the show, David. So here's David,
that's
right?
Abby.
And then Abby, yeah, they were really, really sweet and cute, but very and like funny in a way because her responses to some of the stuff was pretty pretty fucking funny. You know, he'll say something
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I thought you were the prettiest girl ever," and she just goes, "Thank you." Like it's a price. but they're very cute.
Yeah,
But like,
and he
but
doesn't take
Chirico's
it
thing,
weirdly.
No, but-
yeah, he loves it.
but like Tarico's saying, well, they want families. I don't know. You watch them kiss, and they're half missing each other's mouths. I'm not that worried about them successfully consummating, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, it can happen,
Yeah.
but I doubt it.
Yeah, they want
But
to.
he also
cats.
he also took her to Africa somehow.
That,
I'm like,
by the way, what? Yeah, you watched this episode.
Huh?
I wrote down. I know. I'm like, look,
fix
I-
people to Africa.
I
I
don't
couldn't-
know.
I couldn't do that.
I guess
Today.
Netflix. I'm assuming Netflix must have paid for this, so I'm indirectly paying for this. There's no
That
fucking way this
yeah,
guy got like
that
50
makes
sense.
grand.
Maybe he's the son of a millionaire. It's like he's like inbred autism instead of like natural autism. It's like he's a Habsburg or something like that. Just
I want to
years
go to
of rich inbreeding.
Africa.
I control half of the world's monetary supply. But
Jerome Powell asked me whether to raise interest rates.
when Jerome Powell asked me, I told him, yes, I think that's a good idea, sir. They're all very polite, by the way. You notice that? It's super, I really liked it. It was adorable. They're super polite. As you said, these are all wonderful people. But I did write down that I don't think autism and real lions in Africa is a good thing to mix. Just in general.
How do you know? We
Just in
gotta
general.
let them do their thing. Maybe they
Did
can
you
talk
ever
to
see that Idris Elba movie where he's like fighting lions? It's fucking awesome.
Is he autistic in that movie?
No, but
Oh, well, why am I going to watch it?
Going to yes, redo it, and I bet he could play an autistic guy. He's such a good actor.
He is fantastic.
Should we write this script? Everything.
I
is
think
the
we
same.
already are.
Autistic.
That was actually, I told you guys, that was a pitch I had for the podcast. As one of the ideas I had was that we take movies, we want to we rewrite them, and we like with how we want them
Everything's
to be made.
autistic.
Yeah, and we can do the same thing with Liam Neeson, where he's fighting those wolves, but he's also autistic in that. And then we have him team up in the third one.
And
Because
the
also a lot of autistic people I've seen to realize they always ask what animals the other person likes and what animals the other person doesn't like. So it's
Yeah.
kinda
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Do you like lions? I don't like lions. Let's fight lions.
Yes, I loved it. Well, you know what? Let's go. That's a good segue into the dating thing, because they clearly they had a dating thing just for autistic people, and it was again sweet but heartbreaking. And like I said, it made me tear up a little bit because this one guy, what was his name? The guy from Atlanta who they started off with, who's like, he quotes, he's like, "Love is a
Connor.
dagger." Yeah, he's like, they
Connor.
start with the world's most polite and depressed guy with autism who has a hot sister.
He's my favorite. I have
Is-
my favorite
is
quote
he
of his.
British accent? Or
I
is
think
that-
he's
No.
he's like a
No proper, I just-
Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a weird personality. I think he just thinks
Yeah.
he's like quoting movies all the time. He loves movies.
Oh.
It seems.
Wait a minute. Of course, we're all fairly libertarian here, if not outwardly libertarian. And there's the long running joke that all libertarians have autism, and it did crack me up when he goes, "Yeah, I can't wait to go on a date and meet a nice girl, and I can tell her how democracy got started." And I was like, "Yep, we got another libertarian on our hands here."
The dad tells him maybe wait till the second date for
Yeah.
that one. But there's another thing he said that I loved. That he goes, "I'm into brunettes, but I'll settle for a blonde."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing he said.
And then his dad's
That's
like,
funny.
"A brunette like your mom?" And he's like, "Ah!" This guy, Connor 24.
Yeah,
Again,
he's
very,
wonderful.
very sweet, but it was the most uncomfortable scene ever when he's speed dating. And they have a couple people sit down, and Connor's asking him questions. And I wish I could show the scene, but again, YouTube was pulled off immediately. But
one of the questions he goes, "Do you have any food allergies?"
yeah, that was. but before that, two different people sit down with them, right? That's a good question.
Do you have any food allergies? I need to know if we're gonna go on future dates if you have food allergies.
Well, so
like the first question.
The first couple girls.
That's a great question. That's why these people are smarter than all of us.
Seriously, he's like, I've lost a few dates to that. So the first couple girls sit down, and the first girl he asks her something like, oh, do you have any pets? And she's like, I have cats. And he's got a form in front of him, and it's got all the names of the people he's meeting with, and a yes and a no column, and then a section that says notes. And as the girl says she has cats, he looks down, and she's sitting right there, and puts down no. And I don't know if the first girl noticed it or not, but the next girl, and this is what got me teary. She seems so sweet. She's like a nerdy brunette with glasses, and she's like, "Hi, how are you doing?" You know. And they sit down, and I can't remember what he asked her, but he asked her something, and just again, right in front of her, as soon as she answers, he just marks no, and the look on her face was heartbreaking because she did notice.
I think I remembered what he asked her too. I think it was the third girl, because the second girl, he asked if she liked nature, and she's like, no. And he really liked nature. And then I think he asked that girl, the next girl, if she liked nature, and she starts talking, yes, how she likes nature, but it was this kind of long answer, maybe a boredom. And while she's talking, he's like,
no.
And then she's awkward silence.
It was just, she saw him do it, and she's just sitting there mouth open. I mean, probably trying not to cry. Again, this is why it got to me. I was like, this fucking poor girl. And then the producers come over, and I think the producers are Australian. They're like, oh yeah, oi, Connor, maybe don't mark those down where they're sitting across from you, eh? And he's like, oh no, oh no. He felt super bad about it, but it was, holy crap, hilarious and awful at the same time. God, it was awful.
That's honesty. That's why it's brutal honesty. Doesn't even consider not being his 100% authentic self.
He's living his truth.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Whether you like it or not.
I loved the girl with the glasses. She
the LA girl.
The LA girl, she was going to bars I've been to. I think you.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what bars she went to.
High in Venice. It's High in Venice at the top of the hotel.
That's what I thought. Okay, yeah.
I can't remember the hotel.
Used to be up by James Beach or something, right over there.
Yeah, it's close to there. Yeah, so this girl, Danny, she was very sweet, very cute, but what's funny is she's like, I just want a man who's not creepy. And she does this really she uses her hands hilariously. She goes creepy, and she's makes almost a boob grabbing motion. Creepy. And then also she was on a date with another autistic guy who he must have been on the light end of the spectrum, but you could still tell because by the way they talk is very distinctive. He seemed like a sweet guy, but he's trying his best. It seems like they're getting along. And then she's like, so would you live in LA or San Diego? And he's like, I don't know. I think I'd probably, I really like San Diego. And you could just tell, I think that turned her off immediately.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if he could tell or not. He's later on, he's like, so do I look cool? And she goes, you look cool. And gives him the double. But I don't think it's going to work out. She's sweet too.
She's really into people, or it's almost like a mandatory requirement. They have a job with animation.
Yes.
Yeah. Why don't you
obsessed with
put that on your profile? Only dating animators.
Yeah, but he said he had a friend that wrote for some anime show that she really was into. So you think that's
yeah. She probably couldn't stop thinking about the friend after that.
Who's this guy?
Yeah. And then the other guy I notes on, because I only watched the first episode, was James, so I guess has been on he was on the first season. Very, long haired, very polite,
Oh, yeah.
fast talking James. I'll show his
Rock and roll.
screen. Rock and roll James. And also big fan of swords.
Love
Big into
swords. Love
But-
swords.
He has some autistic friends, and they went and like had a fireside chat, and there's like a bunch of autistic people sitting around. And I was just thinking, man, I'll watch if they remake Friends, the TV show Friends, with these people, autistic friends, I'll watch it. I'm in. 100% I'm in.
I agree.
Nobody told me it was gonna be these swords. Chop, 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 chop. Just like be awesome.
Yeah, his friend that was telling him that he's taking on the Elvis look because
Oh,
Elvis is good with the ladies. Right? He's like, I got the pompadour and the sideburns because Elvis.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So one thing I was wondering about, well, I'm sure it must happen, but people on the spectrum, are they dating people that are not on the spectrum?
I wonder.
I think it would be.
It doesn't seem right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. I mean, it depends on where they're at onto the spectrum, right? I mean, if they're on like the one guy that was talking to the girl, Abby or whatever I just showed in the pink with the glasses, she and him, like I think he could probably date somebody, or somebody could date him that was not on the spectrum.
Well, he definitely
if he could drive his ass
like he
up
was
from
on the
San
spectrum.
Diego. Oh no, he is. He said he was. But
Yeah.
if he can, he's got his own place. He has a job. He drove up from San Diego or came up from San Diego. He's not on the spectrum in the same way as some of these other people are. Where if you're dating like the girl Abby, who's cutish but 100% spectrum. She is B spectrumed more heavily.
Yeah.
You're a fucking creep. Like you're a
Yeah,
a
you
horrible
think
person.
whoever's like the guardian of her would be like, "What the fuck are you doing, pal?"
Yeah, don't intrude on my territory.
But so I watched. I don't know if it was maybe episode 2. That James guy, this girl contacted him through Instagram, and so he met her out, and she did not seem like she was on the spectrum. She seemed just kind of nice.
Is she foreign?
But just
No.
kind of like awkward type of chick.
And then like towards the like the whole time she seemed normal, and then at the end I'm like, maybe she's a little bit on the spectrum. But she said like she one day she wanted kids, and James was like, oh no, can't do it. Sorry, sorry to break your heart. I can't have kids. And like, okay.
That almost reminds me
like-
of like, well, two things. Matt, I have a friend named Matt who was 100% on the spectrum. Rest in peace. He passed away. But there was a girl dating him who was not bad looking. She was foreign. So our suspicion was she wanted a green card. But she was he wanted a family. He wanted to get married, and she was into it. And he dumped her, which don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. He thought he could do better. He thought he could do better. But I don't know. I mean, I was suspicious of that. I almost wonder if sometimes, like, look, for the first guy, Connor, when his family was sitting down and they're like, yeah, he doesn't have any friends, and his mom teared up again. I'm sitting on the couch fucking tearing up. I'm like, I want to be this guy's friend. Like, I would, if you lived next door to me, I would be this guy's friend. Some people out there, they're watching these people on the show. Maybe they're just fine. And they're like, I just want to give this person a friend. I want to give them somebody. And if you're a woman and you've got the ability to have sex with them, it's less creepy than a guy doing it, I guess. Kind of. Oh, that's patriarchy
weird.
talking.
Yeah, there's
I don't know.
It's a weird line.
They can always hold your drugs because the cops will never search them.
Good.
Can they go right
point.
through the airport with the drugs?
Oh, I would imagine. You
How much
put him
drugs do you-
under a
You want to
helmet.
be my friend and go to Las Vegas?
Yeah.
It's like
the
the
thing.
episode where it's Always Sunny, where they keep bringing Charlie as a legless military vet to the strip club, and then Frank rolls in with a wheelchair with a straw. James, we're going to the strip club. Come on. I don't want to go to the strip. We're going to the strip club again, James. Get in the car. We're going to get free lap dances.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I can't add anything else you want to add, I cannot watch anymore. My wife's watched more episodes of it. I can't watch the show. I won't watch it anymore. It gets me too much. It gets me too much in my feels. As I said, I'm a hateful, horrible person, and I do not need my heart touched by shows like this. But I do think it's wonderful. I root for everybody on the show.
Yes, I was going to say I root for them all. Hopefully they find their happiness, and like I said before the show, I'm in a way jealous of their.
I agree.
Feel like they're so in the moment, they're not worried about other things. But who knows? I mean, everyone's got their own problems.
Yeah. That's why they have like a special ability that we don't have. That's the way I look at it. I wish I was that way, but I'm not. I'm on this show.
You are on this show. All right. Well, what should we do next? Any thoughts? Any feelings?
Let me see. I got.
Now I had some sheets I share with you guys. We could go through. I know we have some people watching. If anybody does want to weigh in live in real time, we can gauge some. I'll read off some names, and you guys can let me know if you're into any of these. So we talked about doing Super Sex on Netflix for a new show. That just came out. That's one about the porn star. That's the only new show I wrote down. Old shows, we talked about doing Double Dare.
Wait a minute. What if we did Sex in the City? And then it could be
that's Sex in the City. Also, American Gladiators, Mr. Belvedere.
Sex in the City should be on the HBO.
Yeah.
That'll be on HBO Max,
It'll be the double sex show.
All right. You want to do that? It's a sex
what's the other one episode we're watching?
It's Super Sex. It's like James Dean. I think it's James Dean's or Rocco. It's Rocco, whatever his name is. Big Dick Rocco, the porn star's biography show that he produced.
Okay, yeah. So there we go. A lot of dicks, a lot of sex, a lot of chicks. It'll be a good balance. One thing. A lot
of dicks, a lot of chicks.
All right. Escaped a humble life.
I escaped a humble big dick life. Trotting around the farm, slapping horses in the face with my cock, and finally made it big in Hollywood.
Yes.
I mean,
sheer hard work and a giant dick.
If you're just on a farm with a giant dick working, that's how you find out you have a big cock. You
I'm
whip
meant
it out in front
for
of a horse and it
more.
goes, oh. It's a sign from God.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all. All right. Next episode, guys. Super Sex on Netflix is our new show. Our old show, we will do the first episode of ladies' favorite, Sex in the City.
Nice. Perfect.
Sex in the City?
Sex and the Sex.
I don't know. Sex. That's like one of those Berenstain Bears.
Sex in the City. In the City.
What is that called?
No, Sex
and the Mandela Effect.
Sex and the City.
It's Sex and the City.
Yeah, right. Well,
they're just having sex in the city happens to be there. I thought they were having sex in it.
Well, the city's going to facilitate the sex. It's there for a reason.
Yeah, that's why New York was built. All right, later.
Until next week. See ya.
It was wonderful.
Bravo!
I loved that.
Oh, it was great.
Well, it was pretty good.
Well, it wasn't bad.
Well, there were parts of it that weren't very good, though.
It could have been a lot better.
I didn't really like it.
It was pretty terrible.
It was bad.
It was awful.
It was terrible.
Get him away!
Hey, boo!